Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sides of Broken Men. I will be the host again for today. I am Marcus, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always.
Juan, what's up?
Yay, it's Juan. And today, our very special guest is Toby. What's up, Toby? How you doing?
What's up? Doing good. How are you doing?
We're doing great, man. We're happy to have
Yeah.
you here.
Just happy to be
Um,
here too.
Great. That's a little bit important, yeah. um, but yeah, so as far as we all know each other, we all went to the same high school, but Toby and I actually haven't met until just very recently through the podcast. So that's kind of a nice little connection that we've made. But Juan and Toby have actually known each other for quite a while. So I don't know if one of you guys want to talk a little bit about how you guys met.
Yeah, I could take the lead on that. Um, I wouldn't say quite a while. Well, it's been
It's
been
like
quite a
5 years,
while.
dude.
Dude, yeah. Oof, it's a long time. Yeah, so I met Toby, I believe it was in English class in ninth grade. Freshman,
Yep.
yeah, freshman year. And we kind of instantly took a liking to each other. We're both like avid musicians, we appreciate music. And he's just turned out to be a really chill dude. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's I remember I came into class one day and then I don't even know, I think they just paired us in a group with
Yeah.
everybody and I was like, I don't know, Juan was just really funny and we were both like laughing, we're on our own page. And yeah, the rest is history.
Yep.
Um, so today's topic is very exciting because, as we kind of alluded to, or I think Juan said something about, is that we're all musically inclined, I guess you could say. So yeah, the main topic, well, not main topic, but the first topic we're going to talk about today is music, and we're just going to kind of give a bit of a background, I think, of what we're all into and what kind of led us down the path of music that I guess we're on. I don't know, Toby, do you want to kind of go into that?
Yeah, I've been playing guitar and just making music in general for about 6 years now. I started in eighth grade. It was the first time I picked up a guitar, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just started playing it, and because I was like listening to my music through my headphones, and I was like, man, I wish I could do that. And then uh, over like the course of the next couple of years, I bought my own guitar, like saved up like mowing lawns and stuff like that, and ended up buying my own. And then I just kind of like looked up how to play songs I liked, and then just kind of went from there. Then I discovered that I liked more songs. I wanted to play more different things, so I like started listening to more bands. Some bands didn't use a guitar, so I kind of wanted to learn how to play the keyboards.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just like one thing leads to another, then like you have like your own like personal style development taste. It's like just a big
Yeah.
domino effect.
So with me, I think I've always been like very into music. Like obviously, I think most people, because I don't know, I've met a couple people who actually don't like to listen to music. But for the most part, most people like they actually enjoy music and stuff. So, I grew up extremely religious and naturally, like, well, in my church at least, um, being like a musician is like it's like a really cool thing. And yeah, and I don't know, I can't really talk too much about it, but I've always been like drawn to music, and it just comes pretty natural to me. Like I'm kind of like Toby, where it's like you just pick up a bunch of different instruments over time, and I don't know. For me, they've always come very natural.
That's sick. Um, I'm a little different because being well, actually I don't we can talk about that later, but being half Japanese and my mom was kind of pushing an instrument when I was younger. I kind of had a choice between either guitar or violin, and at the time I chose violin, and that was when I was like 6 or 7. So I started like formal lessons immediately. So I was more from what I'm gathering from both of you guys were more like fans of music, and then you learned the instruments because you were fans of music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it was a lot more that my first introduction to music was playing an instrument. And it's kind of funny because not nowadays my first thing that I listen to isn't exactly classical music, especially not violin heavy classical music. But that was kind of the first thing that I was exposed to a lot of because even though I obviously started at the same level as anyone else. I was pretty low level, but just my mom would always play classical music in my house when I was growing up, and she still does, to be fair. So that was kind of the main presence. So yeah, it's kind of, yeah, different path for me, but I guess we've all kind of ended up in similar areas. I eventually decided to stop taking lessons for violin just because of time issues, and I wasn't passionate enough about it to be able to put in like multiple hours of work on it every day. And in the end, I started to go to guitar or keyboard or ukulele, or I even played drums for a little bit. I don't know if it counts as playing, but I messed around with them for a little bit.
It does.
And yeah, it's weird because with those instruments, the way I learned them is kind of similar to how you guys learned your instruments, I think, where you hear a song and you're like, hey, I want to play that, and that's, you just kind of pursue it in that direction. And that's what I've done with guitar and keyboard especially. And in that way, it's a lot easier to work on, you know, improving on the instrument if I'm kind of having a song that I'm already passionate about in my mind and then pursuing it in that way. So I think it's kind of interesting how that works.
Yes. So you start out with like the theory and stuff, and like the hobby aspect of it came like later on. It
Yeah.
was like I'm like barely getting into like theory and stuff now, you know, because like just like gluing like melodies together and stuff like that, you know.
Mhm.
But low key kind of wish that came first, because like it feels like once
Yeah.
like that's like the hardest part, you know, and just get out
Yeah.
of the way, then everything else should come easy, you know.
No, yeah. So Toby, I assume you're kind of self-taught.
Yeah. Oh well, completely.
Exactly. Yeah. See, so I'm also self-taught in most instruments, dude. But like I've always said, like I would prefer to be formally taught, like because again, theory is like learning another instrument all on its own,
Yeah.
and it's so difficult because it's like it's so vast and there's so many different combinations and stuff. So yeah, I usually just wish I wish I'd been taught this like formally by someone who actually knows who they're talking about, rather than try to figure it out as you go.
Yeah, because like you know, like when you pick up something, like it's like when you're like self-taught, you kind of have to like play around to like hear what you sound
Yeah.
like, you know, versus like theory, it's like you already know what it's gonna sound like, you know. I feel like that's the case, and I kind of wish I
Yeah.
had that ability, you know, but
Yeah.
that's why they invented jamming.
Jamie. Yeah, because like I personally like two people who have been on the podcast, Rachel and Alex. I remember one time I was hanging out with both of them, and then I started playing them a song. Bro, within like a second, they like because and we were next to a piano, and he's like
Mhm.
within a second, both of them like you know they touched like the right key, like at like with it was incredible, and I was
It
like,
was
oh wow,
perfect pitch.
what just perfect pitch, like it was insane. But then like I tried to do it later when I got home. I couldn't. It wasn't there. I was
Yeah,
like two
like
half steps
I
off.
think the more you know, like it kind of comes like faintly. Like you hear a
Yeah.
song, this is like, oh, like I wonder what chord that is, and you kind of just mess around, like, oh, there it is, and then like
Yeah.
you kind of know what chords to go after and stuff. If like I don't know, the more you know, like it just kind of feels like the chords come naturally. Like you know which ones come next and like which ones go together, kind of. But like it's not like it kind of happens by accident, you know. Not really happens
Yeah.
like on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just that it takes longer and you have to mess around with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times like because when like my main instrument right now is probably piano. And a lot of the times when I feel or when I get like a certain melody in my head, I want to like I want to get it as fast as possible. Other otherwise, that's a word. Otherwise, like the feeling that I had in that moment like leaves, and then like it's kind of all ruined for me.
Yeah,
So
inspiration strikes like so weird. Like
yeah,
sometimes like I'll just be like, oh man, like that's a great idea. Like I need to do that right now or else it's never gonna happen. And it's usually like places like where it's like the least like in the shower, like right before you go to
yeah,
bed,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And then
yeah,
so I always have like notes in my phone and I come back to the next day, I'm like, no, it's done. It's gone. Like
yeah. Marcus, do you like dabble with like creating your own music?
Not so much. I tried a little bit when I was like, I don't know, maybe 13, 14, like early middle school, something like that. But it was never super my thing. I always enjoyed just listening to music a lot more. So like as far as like, I don't know, creating songs and that sort of thing, I'm just not creative enough for that sort of thing. But as you guys were kind of talking about like uh I don't even know how to call it, but like just
Yeah,
playing certain songs and everything and being able to get it off the fly, for example. Um, that is something that I am very grateful for playing violin early on, because we're kind of talking about the theory aspect and the technical, being able to identify notes, even that sort of thing. And even though guitar and ukulele and even piano, they're all obviously different from violin, I was able to pick them up a lot quicker than I probably otherwise would have been able to, because I had played the violin and it is a string instrument. And I'm really grateful for being able to learn that aspect of it. But at the same time, when you guys were kind of talking about like having to search for searching chords and that sort of thing, I'm kind of learning that little bit too, as I have, certain songs that are playing, and I'm like, okay, I'll just try to mess around with it, and then eventually after like 15 minutes of frustration, I'll just go to the tabs. And like, okay, well, I mean, that was a nice try. But yeah, so while the theory aspect of it is really useful, and I'm grateful for that, and I think it also allowed me to enjoy these instruments a little bit more, because I didn't have to struggle through the technical aspect. It's kind of unfortunate, but I don't really enjoy playing the violin that much anymore. I still play it occasionally, but not nearly as much as I play electric guitar, acoustic guitar, or anything else, just because I have so much frustration while trying to play it, because I just always think about the technical aspects when I'm doing violin, and that's part of the reason why I don't like hearing violin music a whole lot, is because I'm just like, oh man, I wish I could play like that, but obviously I couldn't before, and like obviously they're professionals. I'm never going to sound like Hillary Hunt, even if I worked at it. But yeah, so there's always that kind of like comparison or analytical aspect that happens with violin for me, but because that is kind of stays with that instrument, it allows me to enjoy the other aspects of the other instruments. So I was kind of wondering if that's anything similar to something that you guys might struggle with, because you guys are kind of having to struggle through the technical aspect on instruments that you are trying to pursue and play more actively.
Yeah, like I never tell someone that plays class music that I'm a musician, because like, oh, well, do you know this? And you'd be like,
Yes.
no.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I never do. And wait, what? Sorry.
I was gonna say like I don't know, it's like it's fun just like to not have to worry about that kind of part, like the rules to music, but like I guess like if you want to like just keep getting better, I guess it has to come at some point. You have to learn a little
Yeah.
bit, at least
Yeah,
enough to get by.
that's one thing I never do. Whenever there's like someone who's like properly formally trained and they're really, really good, I just shut my mouth and be, oh, you're a musician? No, who told you that? I don't play.
I'm like a
I
little
don't do
bit
anything.
here and there.
Yeah. Like, yeah, just a little bit. What kind of music do you listen to, Toby?
Right now I've been really into punk, like first wave punk, like late 70s, early 80s, like Ramones, Dead Kennedys, like Clash kind of stuff. Um, but like last year, like 2020, I was into a lot of like classic like rock. Like I started listening to the Beatles a lot when I was like a senior, and then I started listening to like their solo stuff, and then like the Rolling Stones, just those bands like that. Um, I don't know. There's so many more bands I have to listen to still, but just kind of get my feet wet in like those that older era, because I know a lot of new music, like new punk, new blues, like new rock and stuff. But like it's I've been like listening to all like the originals. People did it first. Let's go back to the
Yeah.
roots and stuff.
What about you, Marcus?
Um, recently it's been a lot of just recent music, like I don't know, 21 Pilots or Joji, or even like Billie Eilish I've been listening to, and I know
She's
Han, you
good.
listen to her as well, and yeah,
Really good.
she can do lots of different styles. It's kind of surprising, because
Yeah.
my first kind of impression of her when I started listening to her, or when I first heard of her at least, was that like, she's just some kid trying to do music, and her voice sounds funny, and like I'm not that big of a fan. But once you actually like take the time and look at all the different things that she can do, especially with her brother, and the kind of songwriting and things that they can do, it is kind of impressive. So I've been listening to a lot of that sort of thing. But I do listen to just a lot of random stuff. We've talked before on the podcast, but I'm into anime, so I have listened to plenty of anime songs or Japanese songs that have nothing to do with anime. My dad grew up, well, didn't grow up, but he was really into music in the 80s and has kind of just kept that taste throughout the rest of his life. So I listened to plenty of 80s music as well. But yeah, so it's just kind of a mix of things.
As it should be, you know. It's like it'd be kind of boring if
Yeah.
it's just the same, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know. As long as like you're like still like finding new things to listen to, like I think that's all that matters, you know. Like I mean, repeating is like there's like good songs and stuff you want to listen to like over and over again. But like if it was the only song to listen to over and over again, like it kind of like take away from like how good it is, you know. And like you find new
And
music and then like, you get in this whole other page and then like say like a song from like way back when you're like, oh man, like I forgot how good that song was. Like you still have like appreciation for everything you've ever listened to, you know.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's part of the reason why like I'm so baffled when I hear that some people just straight up don't like any music. It's like there is so much music out there.
Dude,
Like, how
I've
is there
met them.
nothing that you like?
I've
There are so
met
many
them.
different.
These people, yeah, these people are weird, dude. 100%. Um, when I feel like a lot of people say this, but when you ask them what kind of music do you listen to, they like say everything. You know, have you ever met those people?
But then I
I'm
was
one
like,
of
oh,
them. I mean,
you like Christian rock and satanic death metal? Like good on you, man. Like go for it.
so actually, kind of like alluding to that point, that's kind of me, yeah. Because it depends. I wanted to ask you guys, what's more important to you for you guys? Because me, I'll say this, because I prefer like when lyrics are like powerful or they're very meaningful, rather than listen to like actual like instruments and stuff. That's kind of the reason I can't get into rock, sort of, or it's because like the lyrics they're not like meaningful. And
Yeah.
like what's amazing is like a guitar is doing like a solo and it sounds really good, but like to me it doesn't it doesn't, you know, it doesn't do that much for me. So is it the same with you when you're writing music? Is it more about the actual instrumental and the music, or rather the lyrics and like the singing and stuff?
Well, like as far as like writing goes, like music definitely comes first. Like I'm big on like what sounds can I create and stuff. Lyrics are usually like a last, and I can never really finish those anyway. But like that's like more of like making music, because like making music, you just want to like see what you can sound like, you know, like it's like your fingerprint, you know, like what's your tone, like what's your like style playing, you know. But
Right.
like listening to music, I don't know, it's kind of like a half and half, you know. Like a lot of like old songs have like really like generic kind of lyrics, but like that was like also like back then, and like that was kind of like the first time it ever happened, you know. Like it was like just barely being introduced. But like if someone like wrote something like that now, it's like it's kind of boring, you know. It's like a lot of nowadays music, I feel like music's more important and like lyrical depth, but like back in the old days, I feel like it's just like music, because like they're just pioneering the music, you know.
I'd make a count. Oh, I was gonna say the opposite of what you just said.
Really?
If I'm being 100%, yeah, like some of the music. Well, I mean, if you think about it either way, like not necessarily with just rock, but I'm talking music in general. I feel like back then, kind of words, the lyrics, like you said, lyrical depth was more important back then, or it was
Like
very
minimal.
prominent back then. No,
I don't know.
prominent, like
I don't know. Like I think a lot of the songs back then are just about like I don't know. I like old music, but it's just about girls and cars and stuff, you know. But like
and I kind of agree with you, but I
but
don't
like I
know.
feel
Do
like
you think
nowadays
music's
music,
better now or then? I'm
it's
just
so hard to
straight up.
choose. Like I mean
Okay.
like as far as like production and like the amount of instruments and stuff, yeah, I think nowadays just because like there's just so much more now, you know. But like what makes the old music good is just that they were doing something new back then, you know,
All
and like
right.
it
Yeah.
still sounded pretty good. Like
Yeah. Yeah, because one of my cousins, all he listens to is like oldies, like 70s, 80s. Like that's the only thing he listens to, and like rap, some rap. But like again, it has to be like lyrically like very like deep. I think an example is like kind of like J. Cole. I don't know if you've ever listened to it's rap, but like some of his lyrics are like very like they're very moving because they have a deep meaning behind them. Whereas some of like newer like Ian Dior or have you heard Stay by Justin Bieber and that one other guy? Kid Leroy.
I think
Leroy.
I've heard it on TikTok, but I've never like listened to it.
Yeah, that one. Like it's not necessarily a deep. There's no deep lyrical meaning behind the lyrics. Whereas again, listen to like J. Cole, it's like he's talking about real stuff. And I don't know. For me personally, I guess the way I grew up is I've always preferred for lyrics to be deep and like meaningful rather than like I don't know, like vibey, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't know, like like I said, like I feel like they just like lyrics like they kind of go with like the time, you know. Like
I
a lot of
agree.
stuff like back like in the 70s was all like protest stuff, you know, like Vietnam,
Yeah.
depending on like what you listen to. And like a lot of days like it's now it's felt like a lot of like inner reflection and stuff, you know, like who are we as people, you know, like it just kind of like the way people are, you know, like it just kind of goes
Right.
with the times.
Yeah, it is interesting because as far as like, I mean, you can follow trends throughout time and that sort of thing, and what is more valued and what kind of styles stay lyrically or musically. But yeah, it's really hard to claim which one is better over the other. I will say though that um, while I do generally appreciate a lot of lyrical depth, I do think that sometimes songs can be a little bit too on the nose, especially some rap songs and I don't know some newer artists like some of Billie Eilish's songs are a little bit too obvious for me, um,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. And I feel like music is supposed to be art. It's supposed to, you know, be beautiful and subtle and like it's supposed to make you view the world in a different way, in my opinion. That's my favorite kind of music. So whenever there are these things that are just saying out scenarios and talking about real life stuff, like that's good. But if I just want to hear about real life stuff, I'll probably just listen to a speech, you know.
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of where I find a lot of the value in like older music, where like back in the 60s or whatever, they were just talking about like cars and girls and that sort of thing, and that was
Yeah,
the
yeah, I agree.
majority. That was
Yeah,
it. But their music was so pure because it was so new, and everything that they were doing was so wild, and everything was constantly progressing, and they were the pioneers. So it's pretty cool to see that. And yeah, I think still today, even if songs don't have lyrical depth, as you were saying, Toby, lots of instruments are being mixed more and more together, because there are so many more sounds that are being explored today. And I feel like I was listening to just a Joji song the other day, but this kind of applies to a lot of lo-fi, I think, is that there are just so many layers to the music, and it's really cool to see. So yeah, I think there are lots of different ways that you can kind of look at music. And yeah, I think my favorite is when there's a fine balance, but you know, to each their own.
yeah, and like as far as like bringing up lo-fi and stuff, I think like nowadays lo-fi is like so funny because like back in the 90s it was just like, oh, like we're gonna record this guitar track on a tape deck and call it good. But like nowadays like lo-fi like you send it through more production to make it sound old than like you would need in the old
Yeah.
days. Like I just think that's pretty like funny. It's like you need hi-fi to make it sound lo-fi.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
how many times do you think they compress a file, like compress the music to get the sound?
Well, like there's like plugins like that I use like on Logic Pro 10 that like makes it sound like a warped vinyl record. But you have to buy the
Mm.
plugin and like do all the settings on it and the stuff, you know. But I don't know,
Yeah.
it's pretty sick. I do dig it, not gonna lie. But like,
Oh yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be called lo-fi when you have all that kind of stuff going into it. It just sounds
We're
like
we're
old.
we're
Like,
trying to go back in time, I guess.
yeah. Well, I don't know. That's the thing too. Like nowadays, music's pretty good because it incorporates all music. You know,
Yeah.
like we try so hard to sound like our parents' music. You know,
Hmm.
like it's because that like even though like it was kind of like we don't really think anything of it now. Kind of like, oh, it sounds all the same. Like it's a reason that the music nowadays exists too. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Toby,
Yo,
have you listened to any of like newer artists and stuff?
most like newer artists I listen to are like not this. I don't know. I listen to a lot of like new albums that come out, but they're not really bands that are like really popular.
Oh, okay.
I listen to like a lot of like the Cribs. I've been really into them lately. I listen to like Franz Ferdinand's kind of like they're like kind of like bigger now than they were, or but like they're still making new music, you know. But they're from like the
Hmm.
2000s. But I've never listened to like any like new artists that have like come out lately.
Okay. Okay.
Like
And I'm specifically talking about artists, like newer artists that like that just blew up. So
no,
okay, I'm gonna so you've never heard like a Billie Eilish song?
I mean I've heard them, like I never like sat through and like gone out like I don't listen to it in the car or like I never
Okay.
heard like a full one like start to finish. I don't think I hear them in the
Do you have
store, you know.
do you have like an opinion on like these newer artists like Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo? Do you know like Alec Benjamin maybe?
I mean like I'm not against it, but like I don't know, it's just not my style.
Really?
Like I don't know. Like a lot of people I like are getting kind of older now.
Mm,
Like I don't know. I always think like when I hear like people are like younger than me making better music than me, I'm like, man, like it
it's
just kind of
hard,
feels
yeah.
defeating.
Yeah. Because then you like look at them and they're like, how old are they?
Like like
Like Billie
like
Eilish
like
was like
still in high school. Like
16. Yeah, like Billie Eilish was like 16 when she blew up, wasn't it? Like she was very young.
I don't know, the people I listen to are like role models, kind of, because it's like
Yeah.
who do you look up to, and like I don't know. I don't really feel like peers are really role models.
What about you, Marcus? Do you have like an opinion on these newer like new age like singers and stuff, artists?
Um, well, I kind of said a little bit about Billie Eilish and how I think that there's more to her than I thought there was previously, especially in terms of lyrical depth. However, I do think that does have a lot to do with her brother because I know her brother is pretty heavily involved with a lot of the writing, and he's obviously like 5 years older than her. So, in a
Yeah.
way, he's kind of an older artist. But as far as like Olivia Rodrigo is the only other one that I am relatively familiar with, but I'm not super into them. I think like they're fine, but I don't know. There's kind of this new style that's coming through that is like kind of sometimes on the nose with how they're saying things, and it's like a. I was talking about this with my sister the other day. She called it like it's like treating the songs as like a diary or something like that. It's
Oh
very
yeah.
confessional, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that works sometimes. And if you blend it well with the music and with nice wordplay, then it can be compelling or enjoyable and that sort of thing. But I do think that if it gets a little too prominent, which I do think is kind of coming to be the case, as far as like stuff that I've seen with Olivia Rodrigo and that sort of thing, I do think it'll get a little bit bland pretty quickly, and
Mm.
I'm already not that much of a fan of it. So I mean, like, good for them that they're blowing up, but I think it's pretty much just a gimmick that'll eventually run away with the tide and the rest of the music scene as time goes on.
Well, it's like kind of like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time because like yeah, like it's kind of just like it's kind of all the same, but like the sound is kind of evolving, like where it incorporates more
Yeah.
real instruments again, like where that was kind of fading out like in like the 2000s and like 2010s,
Mhm.
Like I think like real instruments coming back is kind of a good thing, like new like fresh breath of air that music needs right now. People
I agree.
kind of need to know what a guitar does, and what you can do with it. Like there's so much you can do with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is cool to see new artists, yeah, using instruments like you said. Like I was watching on Disney Plus, like the Billie Eilish did like just a video concert. I don't remember the what it's supposed to be called, but she was able to use the LA Philharmonic for like most of her songs. And I'm like, that's so sick. I wish I could do something like that. But yeah, I didn't really think that lots of her songs would be able to work like that. Thinking about it, like, wow, yeah, I guess she does use a lot of those types of instruments, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, and like I don't know, I have respect for anyone that like uses their instruments or writes their own songs. I guess that's why like a lot of like music like nowadays I'm not really into too. Just because like a lot of people like on the radio and stuff, like they don't write their own stuff. They don't
Yeah.
someone just clicks some buttons on a computer and does everything. Like the music's done. Like it kind of takes out the fun of like the rawness of it, like the feel of like your hand on a guitar, like like missing like a quarter note on the drums, just makes it unique.
Yeah.
But
That's why like I personally respect artists like Ed Sheeran, for example. He has like because like I don't know, have you ever played guitar and like sung at the same time?
no.
It's hard. Well, for me it's hard. I don't know, because
I don't think
you're
I've ever
doing
tried.
you should try it, dude. Like
Yeah.
just yeah, it gets pretty difficult. Because like I tend to like focus on I have to look at my hands sometimes and then yeah, and then
Work on the break
I
you're trying to
forget the
do like the
word.
face like the
Yeah.
like what am I doing?
You know what is funny though? Seeing like big pop stars like pick up. I don't know if they like played instruments or they play them at a very basic level, and then like they want to like perform big concerts and stuff. I think I saw one with like Nick Jonas.
I was just gonna say I was like Nick Jonas the Telecaster. He's like
He
it's
had
like he
like
just bent one note.
he had a solo, bro, and it's
You seen
like
Wiz
no
Khalifa
respect.
solo?
It was yeah, it was something I don't know. It sounded like really bad, because like Yeah, it was just so bad. He played a couple wrong notes. I don't know, and he was just bending the string the entire time.
And everyone's like, "Yeah, go!"
But like all the guitarists are like semi-guitar. I'm a semi-guitarist. They're like, what? No, that sounds bad.
I
But
like
like,
I'm not really a big fan of like that Fantano dude, but I do like music criticisms of like pop music and stuff. Like I don't like when people like analyze like actually like independently created albums and stuff. But, like when they rip into like these like major productions and like
yeah,
I think it's so funny because they just pinpoint everything. Like people are like, yeah, we're gonna play some more guitars on this album, and I saw one where it's like there's like one like acoustic guitar like 8 bar break for a second. And it says like someone just walked in the studio and like yeah just play that and they just left after.
uh, yeah, that's bad. So yeah, artists like it, Ed Sheeran, also like Alec Benjamin. Have you guys not heard Alec Benjamin ever?
Mhm.
Have you heard
No.
of? He has like a very unique voice. Like it's very high pitched. You should check him out. But like
Like
his
Maroon 5 high
music,
pitch or what?
well, I wouldn't say high. Well, it's kind of high pitched, but very he has a very unique voice.
Hmm.
Very
And
very
that's the other
unique
thing too
voice.
that kind of like I like when people's like voice sounds unique, like it's
Yeah.
something like you can't really replicate, because I feel like that's a lot of what's happening nowadays too, especially like indie music is like
Hmm.
everyone's like trying to sound the same, everyone drenches everything in reverb and chorus and then
Yeah.
calls it surf rock. Surf rock's pretty sick though, because like it's not a sound effect, it's more of a style of playing,
Hmm.
but no one
What's
gets that.
do you have like a song or an album that's like in your opinion like top tier, like the best?
My favorite album of all time is Right Thoughts, Right Words, Right Action by Franz Ferdinand. That's from like 2013. But like it was like their first album after like 4 years and it was only 10 songs long. But like each song is like so different and so great in its own way that like you won't even think that they're on the same album, but like they all just work like lyrically, like they're so unique. And they have like orchestras, there's like a little bit of punk in it, there's like some hard rock in it. There's some
Hmm.
like just basic pop, it's just really versatile, like and it's not like really deep or nothing. Like it's not trying to like make you feel a certain mood. It's just a good album. It's like it's bright. It's kind of dark in some places, but like it's just really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start like listening to like more music because all the
I
music,
have
like I
the
said.
album signed from them.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
but like from as long as I can remember, you've always been a big Franz Ferdinand fan.
Oh yeah. Like yeah. Right.
There you go.
That's sick.
Yeah. They're I don't know. They're just a good band because like they don't drop they like 5 years between albums. Like I don't know. I think it kind of makes it, and their albums are like not even 40 minutes long after like 5 years with like releasing nothing, and it just kind of makes it more like man, like they put like everything into these like specific songs like the last like half decade. So I
Mhm.
think it makes it a lot of good too.
Marcus, do you have like a song or an album or even like a style of music that you think is like unbeat?
Like my very favorite?
Yeah, yeah.
Very favorite.
Jeez. That's so hard. It totally depends on my mood too. Um, yeah, I really wouldn't be able to name one. There's so many.
Okay,
Um,
let's go broader. Would you have like a specific style that's like probably your favorite style of music?
that's difficult. I could say at the moment, probably most of what I listen to is probably lo-fi hip hop. Um, but yeah, there are so many things. Like earlier in the shower, I was listening to straight 80s music and like I don't know, David Bowie, that sort of thing, which kind of 80s, but um
Always pretty
uh
sick.
yeah, and like I don't know. I guess generally lo-fi, yeah.
You listen to music in the shower?
Yeah, you don't?
No, I'm just alone with
Makes the
my
shower so much
thoughts.
better, dude. Just like just
Um,
vibing.
I think my favorite is probably like classical. If I'm being
Really?
100% honest, dude,
Yeah,
I love classical music.
like soundtracks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think a really good example is, have you ever seen the movie Interstellar? I know Marcus has. Have you?
Dog, I know exactly where you're gonna go with this.
Hans
That's
Zimmer,
that.
bro.
I
Hans
was just gonna
Zimmer,
say earlier when
Interstellar,
you're talking about like imagine watching a movie with like
yeah,
no music. Like I imagine Interstellar no music, garbage.
garbage. So yeah, but like just classical music, dude, for me has always been it's always been there because like it doesn't need lyrics, and that's kind of like ironic to what I was saying, or contrary to what I was kind of saying earlier. But with classical music, I feel I can still feel the emotion, and specifically with the like Interstellar soundtrack, it gets me. Like I don't know, I like start to sniffle sometimes when I'm listening to it. But
Like, yeah,
yeah,
you go in that black hole, man. Like,
yeah. Speaking about movies, have you seen any? What's the last movie you saw?
last movie I saw was The French Dispatch last week.
What's
I
that
really like that
about?
one. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, um, it's about like a newspaper, I guess, but like each it's like in like three different parts, and each part's like a story from the article. It's pretty sick though. Like, I've watched a few of like that guy's movies before, and I really like him. But I've been watching a lot of horror lately just because we came out of Halloween. I saw that
Oh,
movie
okay.
Antlers about like skinwalkers and stuff. That one freaked me out.
No, bro,
I saw it three
dude.
times, dude. It's so scary.
When it has some stuff to do with paranormal, I cannot watch it.
Especially like Native American stuff that's like here.
Yeah, yeah. That's like IRL, like it's based off real like. Oh, dude, no,
Dog, I
it
swear
just
I've seen
creeps me out.
skinwalkers before. I'm telling you. I've
Yeah.
been out there.
Ooh, no, no,
I went to
Um,
Skinwalker Ranch last summer, dude. Like that, I swear, man, they're around. Like,
Marcus, would you get freaked out, or like you're cold? You're like, I can take me.
I don't really do horror movies, man, or horror anything in general.
you
Like,
don't like
I
haunted
mean,
houses or nothing?
nah. I
What?
like, because I mean that kind of like activates fight or flight, and inevitably for me, it always turns out into fight. So the one time, I think I went to a haunted house one time, and I tried to fight somebody, and it didn't work out very well because I was like 11 as well. Um,
Get your
so I was
butt
just
whooped.
this 11-year-old trying to kick the crap out of this poor worker. But yeah, so haunted houses really aren't my thing.
Well, we're gonna
Uh,
have to take you to one next year.
We should.
Absolutely
Cause
not. No, that
We'll
sounds
make a
terrible.
yeah,
YouTube video out of it.
No, no.
raw on
Um,
the streets, haunted house edition.
no. But as far as like movies go, I'm fine with like thriller stuff. So like I don't know, Quiet Place. That's not horror. That's very much
It's thriller.
more
Yeah.
thriller type thing. And like
Quiet Place
Yeah.
Part Two was so good. I swear.
Yeah.
Quiet Place. Yeah. Yeah. Too. I was really happy with how they continued the story, and they opened up so many more options, like going forward for another sequel.
Oh
Which
yeah, I think they are making a third one.
yeah, I really hope they do. But like I don't know. Have you guys seen Signs by M. Night Shyamalan?
Signs,
Which one?
no.
Signs. It's well, do you guys know M. Night Shyamalan or
Yeah, I saw that one old that he
Showman.
did this year.
the old
Uh,
movie?
yeah, I saw that one, but I haven't seen it. I don't know. That was like the first movie I saw from him. I wasn't really into him previously.
Was old any good?
I really liked it. It was kind of, I don't know. It's him, so it's kind of like a mind like twister. I was gonna say something different.
I knew it. Yeah.
But
So okay.
it's
So
a twist at the
kind
end.
of. I was going to say this kind of. I've known Toby again for like 5 years, and he's kind of rated R. So before we even started, I told him, "Hey, careful." Yeah. So
I caught myself though. I'm on top of it today.
yeah, there you go.
So I have to stay on top of it for work and stuff too, you know? It's like it
Yeah.
takes everything I have, not just
You work in customer service?
kinda, yeah. It's like that
Okay.
with a twist.
Okay.
It's like I
So
deal with people, but like I'm doing something for them.
um the last movie I saw, oh, what was it? I just had it. It hasn't been Dune. I still haven't seen Dune, dude.
I haven't seen it
Um,
either.
What?
Let's go.
You guys both haven't seen Dune yet? What are you doing?
I've seen
Dune
the
is
original
so
one.
good. You
Like,
guys
and
need
just
to
the
see it.
story just doesn't compel me that much. Like everyone's like, go see Dune. I'm like, it's about spice. Like, like
Technically, but it's like the universe is so rich, and the acting's great, the casting's great, the visual effects are so great. I really like the pacing. Some people might find it slow, but they pack so much into the plot that I think it really pulls it off. Well, you guys need to see it,
I'm
especially
gonna
in theaters.
just bite the bullet and see it one of these days. But like, I was like, because my like everyone wanted to go see it, and I was like, I'll see literally anything else right now. Like,
oh wow.
but I heard it's really good, so I guess that's kind of like I was like, you should go see it, Toby. I'm like, yeah, probably. I saw Eternals. That one was good.
Was
Did you
it?
see it? I liked
No, I
it.
still haven't seen it. We were gonna make plans to go watch it, but someone
Should
pulled
tell
up.
me when.
Yeah, dude. No, it looks real good.
I don't know.
I've
Everyone,
heard.
I
Um,
don't. No, just no one like. I feel like the people that reviewed it just. I don't know. I guess it wasn't targeted towards them.
Mm,
yeah,
Like I mean, Marvel movies definitely have a specific audience in mind, like all the time. But like it was just different, and that's the other thing people didn't like. Like, well, it's not like the Marvel movies, and it's different. I don't like it. And it says, well, like, what do you want them to do? Just keep making the same thing, or like what?
yeah. Because me personally, I was pretty exhausted with the style of Marvel movies. Before or yeah, before what was the last one? The big one, the big like
Endgame.
okay.
Endgame.
Because
Yeah,
like I
before
saw
Endgame.
Black Widow. Black Widow's all right. Shang-Chi was
Yeah.
all right. Like that's what I'm
What?
really.
Well,
All my money's on
Shang-Chi was
Spider-Man
fun.
right now, dude. Like,
Yeah. Was
whose money
was
isn't on Spider-Man?
recently there was like a big leak for Spider-Man, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, dude. Toby is gonna watch Toby this December. Like money's on it, dude.
It looks
Bro,
really
I
good. I
hope
don't
that's
know.
the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, all my money's on that one because like no one's ever done anything like that before, or at
Mhm.
least to the scale that they're trying to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and for our viewers that may not know exactly what we're talking about, um, I think they're going to be including both of the previous actors who played Spider-Man, or
They
maybe just
better.
yeah. I think they're including both of the ones that played him in the past movies,
Plus
which
all
were
the villains from the previous movies.
which will be really sick. And they're gonna kind of go multiverse. And I won't say that because that's a spoiler for a different movie. But yeah, they're including all sorts of different things for this multiverse in Spider-Man, and it should be really really cool. I was super excited when I saw it because I kind of grew up with Spider-Man, and
Oh yeah, dude.
it was my favorite. Yeah.
They showed
So this
Doctor
theory,
Octopus, and I was like, oh yeah, it's over. Like I don't care if they bring no one else back. Doctor Octopus is
I
there. Like
know.
that's my
Yeah.
guy. Like
say they do bring the multiverse into it, because I mean by this point it's pretty much confirmed. Not really,
well,
but
even tweeted like the new poster, like the multiverse unleashed. Like their official Twitter knows it's a multiverse. Like they know. Like
would
has
you
to
want
be.
them? Would you want them to build on the multiverse?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like
So,
with
but
like
like, how would
Venom
they
and
do that?
stuff. Well, like it's
Maybe not
broken.
Venom,
Like you can
because
just go through everything. Like I heard that. I don't know. I take everything with a grain of salt, but like I heard this is like supposed to be like, not the first time that they're all gonna be, or not the last time they're supposed to be on screen together, which I hope is true because that'd be pretty sick. Because they're making all
yeah.
those like spider like Venom, Morbius, all those movies like that. Like they're trying to build something there, and that's like not in the Marvel universe. So I don't know. I think they're trying to go somewhere with it.
Do you like movies now or from like the past and stuff?
I like a lot of both. Like I'm not really a fan of like 80s. I like a little bit of 90s movies, but as far as like old movies go, I've been the most recent movie I watched on my own, not in the movies, was 2001: A Space Odyssey. I haven't watched it in like a year, but
Mhm.
like it's kind of like music too. Like it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like no one did that back then. Like it was like 10 years before Star Wars and they're in outer space with ships and stuff, but it's like
Yeah.
1968. Like I don't know. Like it literally it's all just an umbrella of art. Like that's all there is to
I
put it.
was I was thinking about this the other day. I kind of like movies like older movies, not like
Yeah.
black and white, but
Oh, even black and white. I like the old Godzilla from like the 50s. Like no one
really?
do like imagine like being in the movies and like seeing like some like big like claymation monster holding a person your size. Like they'd probably be like, what? Like
Yeah.
it's gotta appreciate it for like when it came out too. That's another big thing. Cause like now we're like, oh well, like we can CGI better Godzilla than that. It's like yeah, and probably, but like
Yeah.
just the
Um.
way things evolve.
Yeah. Like the one, like a really good one I like is like Tom Hanks. The Forrest Gump. Have you seen
Yeah,
Forrest Gump?
yeah, I love that
Like
movie.
that's that style of movie. I don't know. They're all really good.
You ever
Or
been
like,
to Bubba Gump Shrimp in California?
have I been? No.
Yeah, dog, you should go there. It's like the best shrimp I've ever had.
Is it
Named off of like the one dude from the movie.
okay? Is it named off the movie, or is like it was a thing and then the movie took it
No,
from?
it's named after the movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so sick. There's one, I don't know. I've been in California like 7 years, but there's one like in Anaheim, or like that's the one I've been to.
Yeah. What about you, Marcus?
Well, actually, just like going off of real life movie settings, my dad grew up like around Washington and Idaho, so that's in I don't remember the exact city or what it's called, but there's this movie called Benny and June with I think Johnny Depp. I don't remember. One sec. Um, but it's a movie that we really enjoy. Personally as a family, it's the one that starts off with the "and I would walk 5,000 miles." You guys know that song?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that starts with that, and yeah, Johnny Depp is in it. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen that
but
one.
it's good. Yeah, it's about three people. It's about this guy who he has a sister that he lives with because his sister is, I think it's high functioning autistic or down. She has some sort of mental illness that she can't like live independently very easily without supervision. So for me, I have an autistic brother, so that there's that connection right there. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting because like that's not exactly a scenario that's out of the realm of possibility for me even. So it's kind of about her meeting this other guy who is Johnny Depp, and like doesn't necessarily have a mental illness, but he's a little quirky and he's able to get along with her really well. And that story just kind of talks about that. And the city was Spokane in Washington, and yeah, we were able to visit like the house that they were living in and everything. So that was pretty cool.
You ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh yeah,
I went to the house in Preston, Idaho one time.
nice.
Like, yeah, it's like about like 3 hours from here.
Hmm.
So,
Do they like let you go inside, or does
no,
somebody
it's
live?
just like someone lives there.
Oh.
Just knock on the
Yeah.
door. Hey, can we come inside?
I'm like, yo, nice house. Like, gosh, like,
I never liked Napoleon Dynamite.
what?
No, and this is like a hot take, but I
I want to
couldn't.
hear
I
it.
tried watching it. I tried watching it, and it like gave me a headache. Like I don't know,
Why?
and it was the movie. I was doing fine. It was like the middle of the day, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch a movie because I hadn't seen it, and a bunch of people were talking about it. This wasn't new, but like I think it was like Halloween, and a kid dressed up as like the Napoleon, right? So they started talking
Like, you
about
too
him, and
freaking
then
candy. Like,
yeah, like so yeah, he was doing like the whole character. He was method acting. And I tried I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go home and watch it. Dude, it gave me a headache. I did like it was not a really for me, it wasn't a good movie. I didn't find
I
it
think
entertaining at all.
I think your problem was that you watched it in the middle of the day. If you watch it at like 2 at night, man, that's that's when it'll be really funny for you.
music, the soundtrack on that one too. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's
Mhm.
just like you're just 2 a.m. just sitting like on your couch and just like the cheesy soundtrack. You're like, oh yeah, this is it. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
feel
so
like
you
you're able to expand your taste a lot when you watch things at 2 a.m.
yeah,
so you have to be out of it.
a
You
little
have to
bit
be
like
like,
half asleep, half awake. It's like a fever dream kind of movie to watch. Um, oh man, what was I gonna say? Oh, have you guys seen Lamb?
lamb.
No,
It's
what's
like
that?
it came out like it's like Iceland. It's like in Icelandic. It came out like in October. It's kind of like it's A24, like the people that made Midsummer and like
Okay,
stuff like
I
that.
looked
It's
it
kind of
up and it
creepy.
says it's a horror drama.
Yeah, I saw it on theaters like when it
Dude,
came out.
I'm not gonna
Dog,
watch anything scary, dude.
it's not scary though, cause like it's just not. It's just freaky. Like
Nah,
the
it's
whole movie's
scary.
fine until the very end. Like, but like I don't know. I was wigging out. I was like, I remember the end. I was with my friend and my cousin. I was like, yo, like, like it's just one of those movies where it's just like a mind twist.
I don't
Right on.
Good job. For me, in order to watch like a scary movie, I have to be with a group of people.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel
I never watched it alone. Like I remember when I
okay.
saw Antlers for the first time, I was gonna see by myself, and then like I ended up going with my cousin, and I was like, good thing I didn't go by myself. That would have been
Yeah.
so bad. 'Cause I was so scared.
No, dude,
Because
it
like
has
when
to
you
be
watch
like
scary movies, like it's just nice to look over and see someone else is just as scared.
it has to be like a group of four at least, you know?
Or
At least, because if it's like me and like if it's just like me and you, oh bro, like you're scared, I'm scared. I'm gonna leave, you know, but no, I'm out. I can't finish the movie.
we gotta plan it. All of us have to go like to a haunted house next year, like a scary one.
Yeah, well, let's watch Marcus throw hands.
I kind of want to see that. That's why I'm saying let's go. Like,
I'll just like bring handcuffs or something then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll,
I
we'll put you in a
remember
straight jacket when you walk through.
I remember one time I went to like it's not even a haunted house, it's just like a scary kind of scary ride in Lagoon. Um like I took off my glasses because I was like freaked out. Think I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see this. And I just took off my glasses and then just closed my eyes all the way through the ride. And I was like, yeah,
I was gonna say, it was like, I was gonna ask the same thing. I was like, do you take your glasses off and you just like, is it everything? Is like your vision like really bad?
Yeah, like it's all blurry. Like it was like, faces of like gargoyles and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see this. So I just took them off and I was like, and just closed my eyes. Yeah.
You
I'm
know
a
what like
sissy.
your vision is like 20 whatever.
No, I don't know. I
Mine's
have a paper.
2015.
No, I have a paper somewhere, but I just don't know where the paper is.
Do you wear contacts or anything, or like you don't need
Me?
nothing? No, Marcus.
Well, hold on, you're wearing glasses, so you wouldn't need to wear contacts. But
Okay.
yeah, I wear contacts. I think I'm 20, like 150 it was or something. I went to the eye doctor like a couple weeks ago. So it's been like 2150 for like 5, 6 years or something like that now. And that's the same with both eyes, which is
Uh,
pretty nice.
yeah,
Do
both
you
mine are
wear
like 2015, so I like
yeah.
read things super far.
Oh. So that's like you have trouble. So you're farsighted then?
No, I can like read. I have like super clear vision. Like
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Bro, you're
like
like
I
a super
can like yeah,
superhero.
like I feel like Superman, you know.
That's super cool. How'd you do that?
Got lucky. Had to give up these straight teeth for it.
Wait, are they actually fake or are you just kidding?
What?
Your teeth.
Oh no, they're real.
Oh.
This is kind of crooked.
I thought he was serious. Well, because you also look like a skater, if I'm being honest. So
I
I
mean,
thought.
I wish I was. I wish I can do some sick tricks, but I can't.
Mhm.
Have you
But
actually
all my
skated
friends
a lot?
skate. I've skated a few times. Like the summer before COVID hit, I was actually like being able to like go into like not the deep bowls, but like the smaller ones. And like my balance is pretty good. But then once COVID hit, I didn't have my own board. I was just borrowing my friends when we'd go. And then once COVID hit, I just like never. I don't think I've touched one since.
Dang. But bro, yeah, we should skate around sometime. Juan
Yeah.
and I and a couple other guys, we just skate around sometime, and it's getting a little bit cold, so maybe not anytime soon. But
Yeah, especially with all the rain and stuff. I know like rain's bad for
yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
board and stuff.
Skateboards for longboards it doesn't matter because you don't need to pop longboards, but because the rain, as far as I've learned from Alex, our friend, it waterlogs the board. So the problem with that is that it can't pop as much anymore. So if you want to do like a kickflip or something like that, or really any sort of trick, then it won't do that. But because like longboards, you're just cruising around and you don't need to worry about that sort of thing, it actually doesn't matter if you're in the rain. So that was actually something that we did the other day. We skated around in the rain. It was a lot of fun. So
Oh,
maybe we
sick.
could
Yeah,
do
like longboards are pretty sick. Like I'd probably get a longboard if I got anything, just to ride around in. Like especially like when you go like camping, like the spots have like there's like the big like concrete circles you go around and stuff. Like it's fun just to
Yeah.
longboard around those. It's
Yeah.
like well the more you know. Now I don't need to worry about longboarding in the snow.
Do you camp a lot?
Huh?
Do you camp a lot?
Yeah, like recently because I have like my own car and stuff now, like the last couple of years.
I've noticed that. I remember I wanted to like DM you, but I just didn't do it. But like, there was like this one week where you were like you were somewhere different like every day or like
Oh
every week
yeah,
for like it was like for like the summer or something. You were just everywhere, like in
like this
Wyoming,
summer or last
Idaho.
summer.
I don't remember, but it
Because
was a
like I've
while
been a
ago.
lot of places last couple of summers. Like because I got my car like right when I graduated. I like went I found this car on Facebook Marketplace and I bought it. It's known as the Smoke Wagon now. Um, but yeah, when I first bought it, gas was way cheaper. So I was like, and I was still
Yeah.
working at Beans. So like
Mhm.
my shift would end and I go to Wyoming for the day, or my shift would end and I go to Nevada for the day. I like stuff out there. Then I've been I went camping twice this year, but like camping, like stayed out, like spent the night there. But I've been up in
Mhm.
the mountains pretty much all summer.
Yeah.
Like
So like just literally shift ends and you leave.
that's how it was at Beans, yeah. Not
Oh
really
wow.
anymore because like my schedule's more like strict now. Like I work like pretty much a 9 to 5, but earlier. But like at
Right.
Beans, like I'd work a morning shift and then like I wouldn't have to work again until like the next night. so I'd have like a whole day
Yeah.
to sleep in and go and stuff. But I kind of miss that, and I also miss gas being like $2 for a gallon because I could
Yeah,
do that more back then.
in Utah, there's a bunch of good places to go like camping. What's like the farthest you've been?
The farthest I've been camping, the first I've been camping was Christmas Meadows. And that's like, you know how like Utah kind of has a little point right there, how it goes like
Mhm.
that. It's kind of like just below it on Wyoming, like just past Wyoming, like going down that side. I went there in July with Chandler, my friend,
Hmm.
and
Shout out Chandler.
oh, Chandler, if you see this, like,
You
but
suck. No. Okay, I know
but it was
Chandler too,
really
by the way.
fun.
He's a chill guy.
Oh yeah, we love Chandler here. Oh, I was gonna say like that one was pretty sick because it's kind of far and like you don't get cell service, but it's like in the Uintas. And then I went again in September, like the same mountain range, but like not as far, like
Mhm.
not as far to Chris Meadows. I kind of went closer to Camas than Wyoming, but that was a
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool spot too. Like I'll have to show you the pictures one day.
Have you ever been to like Moab and stuff?
I've been to Moab. I haven't been out there in like a year, but I have family that lives down in that area. Like I have family in
Oh.
Price, so I know a lot of the area because I've been down there like all grown up. Um, but last time I was in Moab, I was passing through. I was actually going to the hot springs in Colorado at Glenwood,
Okay.
but I wasn't camping. I was just staying in a hotel. But um, Moab's pretty sick. I've hiked there like once in the last year or so, but I definitely want to go back. I'd have to find a hotel, and I really don't like paying for hotels.
Yeah. What about you, Marcus? Have you ever been like? Well, you don't like camping. Hold on.
You
I'm
don't like
asking you.
camping?
Yes.
What?
Nah, it's not really my thing. I've been, well, twice technically. It's both been with my church because they have this thing called youth conference, and so it was like a huge group that we went up to the mountains and just chilled for a bit. And then there's this other thing called trek, which is like a 3 day thing, and like you basically hike like I don't know, I think it was 15 miles every day. I don't quite remember though. But yeah, so it's kind of like a hardcore thing and supposed to replicate like what the pioneers kind of did or whatever. So, and then obviously you slept in tents, so you were technically camping. So, but that's kind of all my experience with camping. It's not super my thing. My family also, because I have an autistic brother, like I said, it's a little bit difficult for us to go out and do things. We might be able to do something like that now because he's a little more chill in his old age. But yeah, it's just never really something that I've gone into. So it's kind of cool to hear, like you're like a mountain man to me. It's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like I have like two moods. Like I either want to be like in the middle of nowhere just forever, or I want to be like in the biggest city there is. Like there's no in between. Like I don't like being in the suburbs. I don't like being in Salt Lake. It's just there's not enough. Like if I want to be in a city, I want to be where it's all city. Or if I want
Mhm.
to be in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere, I want where there's no one around. Like, but I don't know. I
That's
guess
okay.
camping's fun too. Like when you go like around like our age and stuff, it's fun because you go with like friends. Like if
Yeah.
like you're not trying to like behave for like your parents, like your family friends. It's fun with when you're with friends. Because like
You get to
I
do
usually go with
stupid
like my
stuff.
sister and her friends, or just my friends.
While I haven't gone camping that much, I will say that I have gone hiking, which I know is not the same
Oh,
thing.
hiking's
I mean,
so much better. Like you get to go home and sleep in your bed when you're done.
Yeah.
and yeah, I have done that with friends. I think just the one time Juan was there, and we had to drag him up the mountain, but
Shut up.
it was a good time. Yeah, I had never done really anything like that, so and that'll
Where's
be.
your spot at? Where'd you go?
It was called Prince of Wales, something like that. It
Prince of
was
Wales
near
mine
it
trail,
was near
something like
that
that.
one ski resort. Which one was it? Alta?
Snowbird.
Snowbird? Okay.
Snowbird.
Was it
Yeah.
the one going up by like Dog Lake and stuff?
It's you go all the way up Big Cottonwood Canyon.
Yeah, I've been on a couple. I've been to Dog Lake one up there. That one I did that one over the summer. That one's long though. Like
Yeah, I
bring
think it's
plenty
on
of
the other
water.
side of the mountain.
The most recent one I went on was out like in the West Desert, kind of like going towards like Delta,
Hmm.
like just straight middle of nowhere, like no one in the valley. Like it's my happy place. Like I'll hike that till I die, I swear. And it's
Cool.
like
Yeah.
it's like the whole. It's like not even just like a parcel. Like you're at the top of the mountain out there. Like
That is pretty neat. I think I would like to do something like that.
you should come with one day. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, for
Like
sure,
it's like
dude.
2 hours tops. Like
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, 2 hours one way or both ways?
It's like 2 hours up and like it's like about like an hour down. It's a little bit faster going down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah, I'd love to. I don't know if Juan would be able to do that because it might take a
Shut
little bit
up.
more dragging, but
Dog,
So
and I know
okay,
you.
so
It's not hard at all. Like if you pace yourself, like like a lot of people, their thing is like, oh, well, it's getting steep now. Let's just go hardcore. It's like no, like take your time. We're in no rush. Like you have all
Mhm.
day. You're out in the middle of nowhere. Like yeah,
yeah, the one we did with I did with Marcus and a couple other guys, dude. I was dying. It was so
yeah,
bad. Granted, it was like the first active thing I did like that year, or I had been like in a long time. So, but I like we got about halfway. You know how like every trail has like it's kind of very steep, but then it like levels out and becomes more gradual.
yeah.
It's kind of like the beginning. The beginning, like I was like maybe like 30 seconds into the beginning, and then I'm like, oh, I'm out of breath. Like I can't do this. And then yeah, they had to drag me along, and I had a backpack on it. It was kind of heavy, and then I had to give it to Alex, one of our friends, and he's very fit, so like he was like
Yeah.
running the entire time. He could have like ran all the way to the top, but yeah.
I don't like running. Like it kind of like I was like, man, I want to enjoy this. Like I want to take my time to
Yeah,
get to the top. I want to see the sights. It's like,
yeah, but it was
um,
really bad because on the way down, I started getting really, dude, like super bad like cramps on like my quads,
oh really?
like super bad. And then like I told them, I'm like, guys, I'm getting cramps. And then Alex was like, no, you're not. And then he touched my leg and he's like, why is it hard? Like, and then I'm like, I like I wasn't doing it intentionally. It was just really cramping really bad.
Oh,
So
it's all bad. Well, good thing to do. I've been doing this a lot, like since like the summer. You like hit the gym, like your muscles and stuff, and, like mostly just like for like gains and stuff all summer. But like instead of like doing a day on the treadmill or whatever, you just go hiking and cardio. It's a good way
yeah,
to get it all out.
Yeah, very true. And like you were saying, it is like there is definitely something to be said about like enjoying the hike as you go up and do it. Like I was running around a lot with Alex too. But to be fair, we were always circling back around to Juan anyway, so we had no choice to enjoy the hike. But it was a
oh
good
wow.
time, and even the cramps, Juan, it was added to the experience, and it was a really good time. So, and we were
One's like,
able
I'm
to
never
see
gonna
so
do
many
this
nice
again.
views.
Yeah, it was so. I'm telling you, bro, it was so bad. My legs were super stiff. Like I couldn't bend them at all because it hurt like crazy. And but like when you get like a cramp, you kind of have to stretch the muscle and to stretch your quads. You gotta like bend the knee, and that's exactly like these guys literally had to like, okay, hold on, and then they had to. It was really bad.
Yeah, man, you always do your squats and stuff and stretches before you go. You don't want to like pull a hammy or nothing.
No, but like the thing is like I'm a pretty like for legs, I'm pretty strong, but I don't know why I can't do hikes.
A lot of like your hiking and stuff too, especially when you're going on those like steep things, a lot of your core,
Yeah.
um, like your lower abs and like your quads and stuff. So I
Yeah.
try and like that's like what I do the most when I work out, is just to try and do that because like hiking is like it's like why am I doing this? I'm like, oh, so I can hike. Like it
Yeah.
was pretty
Yeah, and
fun though.
and I get to that point though where I'm like, why am I doing this again? Like, I think that time it was because we all wanted to, but yeah, I was like, why did I agree to this? I was like dying.
And to
Well,
be
it's
fair, it
also easier
wasn't.
to like when you go back to a hike that you've already done before, you kind of know how long it's gonna take, and like know like your landmarks and your checkpoints and stuff too. Like hikes, like the first time you go, just seem like forever. Like when
Mhm.
you've done one for a couple times, it's like, oh, it's like you're at the top. Like
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Marcus?
No, I was just saying, to be fair, it was a little bit more of a difficult hike. I think it was like intermediate or something. Um, so yeah, whenever we go out, if we go out all together, then maybe we can go on an easier one and we can take a little bit more time to enjoy the view without cramps.
No,
Um,
screw you. No, we're doing the hard one. We're doing the easy ones.
all right, man, but I am not carrying you. I'm not
yeah,
strong
me
enough.
neither, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'll manage. That's
All
fine.
right. All right. So that's all for this episode. Toby, thank you so much for being on. It was a blast.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for inviting me. It was
Yeah,
so
for
much
sure.
fun.
Yeah. And let's see. Okay, yeah, we're on the platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. Those are where the full length things are. And then we're also on Instagram and TikTok. And that's where Juan posts clips whenever he feels like it. So usually every 2. So other other than that, I don't think we have anything else to call out. We should definitely go on that hike sometime. Oh yeah, as the host, I can make this executive commentary that just in case it wasn't clear, I do know that David Bowie is in the 70s, not the 80s necessarily.
He was in the 80s.
He had like what a little bit in the 80s, but he was mainly in the 70s. So anyways, I'm not an idiot. And on that note, see you all around. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.